Hi, it's Shelley's friend Melba Wilson of Melba's Restaurant in Harlem. This is The Goodness Factor with Shelley Wade, New York edition on 94.7 The Block.
Wow, thanks, Melba. Melba's so quintessentially New York. Love that she introed the inaugural edition of The Goodness Factor with yours truly, Shelley Wade, New York edition. Welcome. And to get you up to speed, I created the Goodness Factor podcast to report good news and shine the spotlight on good people doing good things because we're inundated with so much negative news. Why not give you something that's going to make you feel good? I want to be that person. We are now 4 seasons into the podcast. That's 4 seasons of putting goodness out into the universe. In that time, the podcast has won an award from the New York Association of Black Journalists. We've gone from being an audio-only podcast to also being a vodcast on YouTube. And now, for the first time, The Goodness Factor is on your radio on 94.7 The Block with a special New York edition once a month starting today. Reporting good news and shining the spotlight on good people doing good things right here in New York City and the entire tri-state area. Before we get into the episode, I want to remind you to subscribe to the original audio version of The Goodness Factor podcast on the free Audacy app and wherever you get your podcasts. Also, be sure you're subscribed to the video version of the podcast on the Goodness Factor with Shelley Wade YouTube channel. Every episode of The Goodness Factor starts off with The Goodness Report, featuring good news stories. Then we interview the do-gooder of the episode, someone doing good things in their community. And we wrap up the episode with the good word, sending you off with words of inspiration, motivation, and positivity. And we're going to do all of that today with a special New York twist. So without any further delay, let's get into it. The Goodness Factor with yours truly, Shelley Wade, New York edition, underway right now. Kicking it all off, the Goodness Report. Have you ever heard of Book Fairies? Well, it's a nonprofit and its goal to help close the gaps in access to reading. Towards that goal, Book Fairies has already given away 6 million books since 2012. And now they're giving away more than 25,000 more books to children and families in all 5 boroughs of New York City, as well as Long Island. This huge book giveaway is thanks to a major donation by Thrift Books. The books will be handed out to schools, educators, and community groups. Hi, it's the Goodness Factor New York edition on 94.7 The Block. It's Shelley.
Hi, Shelley. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Who's this and where are you calling from?
My name is Tasha, and I'm calling from Yonkers.
Well, Tasha, you know our goal inside the Goodness Factor is to uplift you. I'd love to know what you're feeling grateful about these days.
So I'm going to say that I am grateful just for my family. I'm grateful for my job, to be able to provide for my family. And I'm just grateful for life, I'm going to say. Just to be alive, to get the opportunity to do this every day and to get a fresh start from the day before.
Yeah, because every morning, I love the way you look at that, because every morning really could be it is a fresh start, but we could actually start thinking of it that way because we don't always, right?
Yes, I say that because, sometimes people can be upset from something that had happened during the day, and just the opportunity to get a fresh day, to start over new, that's just such a blessing. So I always look at it in that way.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing that because we do need to be reminded of that. There's this song, I don't know if you've ever heard of it or if you remember it, by Anita Baker and the Winans. Have you ever heard of that? Ain't no need to worry what the night is going to bring because it'll be all over in the morning?
Yes,
oh.
yes. Yeah.
I mean, I love the message of that because, to your point, we could be going through something really horrible, but with the new day comes new hope.
Yes. That's such a beautiful song.
It
Such a
is.
beautiful song.
And a beautiful sentiment. So thank you for reminding us of it. We appreciate that.
Yes, you're very welcome. Thank you so much for answering.
You're welcome. And have a great rest of your day, okay?
Yes, you too, Shelley. Thank you.
And shout out to Tony Yates from ABC New York, who put the spotlight on an adorable little girl named Alina Colon, who at just 8 years old already has a beautiful spirit of giving and of being of service. She's doing her part to keep her Manville, New Jersey community clean. Here's what she and her father, Anthony Colon, shared with ABC7.
So I came out and I noticed there was some trash. Then I started noticing like a bunch of parts, and like didn't really like that because I knew that it was gonna hurt our community. So I wanted to do something about it. I asked my dad if we could clean up the park. He ordered these sticks, and we got to work.
And what really drove the point home that she was serious, because once we got the sticks, right, she was like, so when are we going to go? When are we going to go? And then we got out here and we got busy and filled up 2 bags on the first day. She sold hot chocolate to raise money for the fire department one year. This is the kind of person she is.
When it is the summer, I think I might do a lemonade stand and raise money for the police department.
I'm just very proud that she took it upon herself to notice that something needed to be done, and she was willing to do it.
Yeah. You don't have to do this.
Yeah, I want to because I know it's the right thing to do.
Wouldn't it be nice if we all did things because we know it's the right thing to do? But listen, if she is our future, then the world is in good hands. Thanks to little Alina Colon for helping to keep New Jersey clean during April, which is, by the way, Earth Month and National Volunteer Month, which is a great segue for me to play you a snippet from the current episode of the Goodness Factor podcast featuring Bishop Katrina Foster, who is the trailblazing Lutheran Bishop of New York. She shared with me some of her ideas of great ways for us all to volunteer.
I would say, go online in your community and look up ELCA, Evangelical Lutheran Church in America congregation, because most of our congregations have a food ministry, diaper ministry, drop-in centers, all those sorts of things. For instance, Trinity Lower East Side, Pastor Will Crozy, they serve over 250,000 meals a year. And it's not a huge congregation at all. Mm-hmm. St. John's Lutheran Church, Milton Street in Greenpoint, Brooklyn, on Saturdays, they served 400 to 500 hot meals every single Saturday. Also in that part of Brooklyn are the North Brooklyn Angels, which is a food truck ministry where they take food out into the community, where there are food deserts every day of the week. Look at your local faith communities, Jewish, Muslim, Christian, whatever they may be, and see if there are opportunities to be of service in that place. And, then you also have your libraries are often looking for volunteers. And I love libraries. It's a great cornerstone of our democracy. We want everybody to be literate and well-read. Mm-hmm. So, a lot of what we have here in New York are, things to do around hunger, around food ministry. But also there are people organizing all throughout our city around matters of immigration. And there's court accompaniment where you go with immigrants who are going into court to check in for the legal process they're going through to become citizens. And on Thursdays, outside of 26 Federal Plaza, there is a Jericho walk. I've been in it several times, where we walk around 26 Federal Plaza, and we are praying for everybody inside, the immigrants, the judges, ICE agents, security, everybody, because we want people to be able to be safe and to be our good neighbors and become citizens, contributing citizens of our country. Because, there's only a few options for how you got here. Native American, immigrant, slave. That's pretty much it. right? So this is a country of immigrants. And so we need to have that that sort of neighborliness towards each other. So those are great places to volunteer around immigration, around food ministries.
At this time, I should probably remind you that you are listening to 94.7 The Block, New York's #1 for throwbacks. I'm Shelley Wade. You can hear me on The Block every afternoon from 2 to 7 p.m. I have a feature on the show called The Mindful Moment, where I report good news and shine the spotlight on good people and give you inspirational and motivational messages. The exact same thing I do on my podcast, The Goodness Factor. And right now you're listening to The Goodness Factor New York edition. It's the first edition ever on 94.7 The Block, and we're going to be doing this once a month. And so, yeah, you were just listening to Bishop Katrina Foster, who's the trailblazing bishop of the Lutheran Church here in New York, and she is on the current episode of the podcast, and she was just telling you her ideas of some good ways to volunteer. Now we'll share with you some of the things that the bishop loves most about New York City.
My favorite place to get a slice is Sam's on 231st, just off of Broadway in the Bronx.
Okay.
Tracy Morgan, that's one of his favorite spots,
okay.
too. He used to live in that neighborhood. We'd see him still see him from time to time. Sam's Pizza, 231st Street. Albanian family owns it, and man, they make the best pizza around. My favorite place in New York, you know what I love about New York the most?
What?
The subway. Here's why. You want to see what the kingdom of God looks like? Get on the 7 train over in Flushing and ride it to Hudson Yards, and that's the kingdom of God. Every nation, every race, every tongue, every style of humanity, all the images and likenesses of God on that subway.
So you're one of the people on the train paying attention to people, because we all try not to look at each other.
I know.
We avoid each other, eye contact. So you're looking at people.
I am looking. And I literally, on the way here, I took the train down. I'm looking around and in absolute ecstatic wonder about everybody on the train. There was a guy, this poor guy, no way to clean himself up, right? And I see somebody like that, and I'm like, and my gratitude just grows exponentially, right? And hello, smile at him, say hello. And he was just shuffling through. And just all of humanity is there, right? So if you want to see what the kingdom of God is going to look like, you want to see what heaven's going to look like, that's it, right? Okay. But there's also no upgrade, right? For $3.
Yeah,
I have the chance at a seat. There's no guarantee.
You know, like if I take the Acela Amtrak, I can upgrade to Acela. You can't do that on the NYC subway.
No, it is a great equalizer, right? This is democracy, and
Very true.
This is government working well, right? I know people have complaints about the trains and all that stuff, but the reality is we have all of humanity is able to get on our buses, our trains, and move about the city and get from one place to another to seek employment, education, entertainment. It is an amazing place. And then, you know, when we've had this snow like we've had, there were people who were able to get on the train and not die.
Yeah, very true.
Not die because they were able to get inside.
Because we had a brutal winter, man.
We
It
did.
was really cold. Yeah.
We really did. I mean, I sat in the comfort of my home looking out the windows going, thank God I have a place to be.
This is 94.7 The Block, New York's #1 for throwbacks. Inside The Goodness Factor with yours truly, Shelley Wade, the New York edition, airing for the first time right here on 94.7 The Block. We're going to be doing this once a month. And you can hear my entire interview with Bishop Katrina Foster of the Lutheran Church of New York. You just heard some of it. You can hear the entire thing and watch the entire thing on the podcast. There is a video version and an audio version. You can check out the audio version on the Audacy app and wherever you get your podcasts. And you can watch the video version on the Goodness Factor with Shelley Wade YouTube channel. Subscribe to both so that you can catch up on all of the episodes from these last 4 seasons, and so you'll be notified when new episodes drop on Tuesdays. The Goodness Factor resumes after this.
This is the real Pod Newscast with Levon Putney.
And we all know this big blue marble of a planet we're on has been changing from the beginning. Geologists and other scientists say all the land masses now broke apart and the continents used to be all together millions of years ago. And, you look at a map, they do look like rough little puzzle pieces, and the changes keep coming. I mean, right now in Africa, there's a new sea actually forming where the eastern part of that continent is literally splitting. Slowly, but surely. The East African Rift, 3,000-mile crack from the Red Sea to Mozambique. And in a few million years, scientists think all of East Africa will split off. And now in Antarctica's Weddell Sea, the UK's Express News site and the Daily Mail are among news sites reporting a new island popped up, like a little pimple. The 93-person team of scientists and explorers run an icebreaker in that area known as a danger zone. When they documented coming across what they thought at first was a dirty iceberg, but once they checked it out, rock. They said it's only 150 meters or almost 500 feet long, 50 meters or 165 feet wide, and juts up about 50 feet high up out of the water. Not big at all, but it's there. 15-ish minutes every Wednesday, and now also a couple of minutes of daily celebrity birthdays, Monday through Friday. I'm Levon Putney. Hope you'll listen and follow.
Let's take another call before we get into the do-gooder interview. Got Aaliyah from Newark, New Jersey on the line. Hi, Aaliyah. What are you feeling grateful for these days?
I'm just blessed to be alive and here with everything that's going on with the world. Able to get up every day and go to work and go to school. It's a blessing, despite with everything that's going on.
How is it that you keep that positive attitude?
I'm going to say I'm going to be religious. God keeps me going and keeps me, on my feet and doing the best that I can do. As a person, I'm just going to say God.
Yeah, it's you got that attitude of gratitude, and it sounds like you have that belief that you focus on the things you can control and not those that you can't.
Yes, that's very true.
Well, thank you for sharing what you're grateful for, Aaliyah. We appreciate you.
Yes, thank you so much. And again, to 94.7 on the block, you guys are a blessing.
Well, I have to say, 94.7 The Block has the absolute best listeners. Not only for you guys listening to us every day, but when I'm on air here on The Block every afternoon, 2 to 7 p.m., be sure you're listening. Got to get that plug in from your radio, your smart speaker, the free Audacy app. Shout out to everybody checking us out on the Audacy app right now. But when I'm on air every day, you guys call in and show me so much love. And so I just appreciate you. So when I say on air every day how much I love you, that's not just me saying something. I really do love you. And thank you for taking the time to check out the Goodness Factor New York edition on 94.7 The Block for the first time today. And we're going to do it once a month. So make plans to listen to us every month. And right now we're going to get back into it. Time for the do-gooder interview. I don't know if you've seen these, but in neighborhoods across the 5 boroughs, from Astoria to the South Bronx, a massive network of volunteer-run community fridges has become a lifeline. These are literal refrigerators plugged into outdoor outlets where neighbors leave fresh produce, dairy, and prepared meals for anyone to take. It's a no-questions-asked system of kindness that has sparked similar movements in Jersey City and Newark, showing a deep level of trust and mutual aid between neighbors during tough economic times. And one of those do-gooders is on the line with me right now. He is civil rights attorney Keegan Stephan, who has installed a free fridge outside of his home in Bed-Stuy. Should I say Keegan or attorney Stephan?
Keegan's good.
Keegan, welcome to the Goodness Factor New York edition.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So are you a native New Yorker?
No, I'm actually from Alaska originally, but I've been in New York City 20 years as of this year.
Wowza! You don't meet a lot of people from Alaska.
Yeah, I haven't run into too many of them in New York City myself.
Yeah. Well, are you loving New York City? Obviously, you are if you've been here for this long.
Yeah, I've been here 20 years and I'm not going anywhere. I plan to be in the city my whole life and probably in this house.
Very cool. So had you heard about community refrigerators when you decided to start yours?
Yes, I was already working with a network of folks who do food justice work in various ways. I've been working with a group called Food Not Bombs that collects food throughout the week and then distributes it in parks. Generally, it's vegan or vegetarian food, and we set up here in Bed-Stuy in the Herbert von King Park every Saturday. And I was working with them doing home deliveries, taking some food by bicycle to folks in the neighborhood who are still homebound. And yeah, I've been doing that for a few years, been working with the Food Not Bombs network for more years than that. And it was during the pandemic that Food Not Bombs and some of its volunteers initially set up a community fridge because we didn't know how safe it was at the time with other folks. Mm-hmm. So one person in the network set up a fridge outside of their apartment building and started stocking that fridge with food when we had excess food, and then they multiplied from there. And there were many by the time I installed mine, but I installed mine last year, right after the new sort of federal administration took effect, when I think a lot of people were feeling very insecure. Food prices were rising, especially egg prices, and people were sort of like also just feeling insecure in their neighborhood and their person. And, setting up the Fed fridge felt very important, helping people meet their material needs, but also like build community and be able to look out for each other and connect on a, daily basis.
Yeah, you were mentioning, last year how high egg prices were. And I remember, everybody was making such a huge deal about how high eggs were. Little did we know that we would fast forward to this year and things would be even worse.
Yeah, it's wild. And, eggs are interesting. It's one of the things we actually have a pretty steady supply of. We have basically like an unlimited supply of like medium-sized eggs because a lot of retailers just can't sell them. Like people won't buy things that aren't large or extra large. But of course, a couple of medium eggs is the same amount of egg as an extra large egg. So we get them through this great organization called the One Love Community Fridge, which is a nonprofit and sources them and stocks a bunch of fridges throughout Bed-Stuy and Brooklyn.
I've never heard that people won't buy medium-sized eggs.
Yeah, the sort of egg producers, if they don't sort of like meet a certain size, they won't, they can't even sell them. They can't even, give them to distributors that'll get them into grocery stores if they're just like a little bit smaller than a certain size that they need to be to qualify.
So Keegan, it looks like people are looking down their noses at eggs.
Yeah, certain smaller eggs, I guess.
Interesting concept, especially at a time when people really need food. And I just love this concept, just people in their community, because a lot of the times, Keegan, we feel like we're helpless when we see things, for instance, things that are happening in the country and the world, and we feel like little old me, what can I do? And you feel helpless. But actually doing what you did, you just put a refrigerator outside your home and put food in it. And you're like, if you need food, take it for free. That is a way. And I don't even want to say a small way because what you're doing is huge. It's a great way to do your part.
Yeah, I mean, it's a privilege to be able to, put a fridge out front of my building and like keep it running for folks. It's a fair amount of work, but it's also, something that anyone can do for a few hours anytime they have some extra time. So, we're all volunteer run, obviously. And folks just, folks come by and they grab food and I like chat with them. I give them a flyer. I let them know if they have a car or a bicycle or a cart, like they can do food pickups. And there's basically a huge network of folks that are all linked on some Signal threads and some WhatsApp threads. And on those threads, there are people who have extra food, like a lot of grocery stores, bodegas, catering services, restaurants, and then there are a lot of volunteers. And the people who have the food will post when they have it, so like multiple times a day in all of those threads. People will say, hey, I've got like an extra box of eggs, an extra box of kale that we'd otherwise throw out. I've got some, catered food that we're going to get rid of. And then any volunteer on those threads can go grab it and stock the fridge. And it's really sort of wonderful to see that people who stopped by to, get food from my fridge because they were food insecure, then started volunteering and like now pick up food and stock the fridge for other people. And, if you got a couple hours to kill, you can like swing by a Trader Joe's, pick up a car full of food and stock a few community fridges. And it's really a quick, easy way to do a lot of good for your community.
Yeah, you make a great point, because even if you are not able to put a fridge out in front of your home, you can do your part by picking up the food and taking it to someone like you who does have a fridge. So people can help in all kinds of ways. And I think this is a great way to wrap up April, which is National Volunteer Month. I don't know if a lot of you guys knew that. It's National Volunteer Month. And so it's a good way to remind everyone. And of course, you don't have to just volunteer in April. But as we wrap up the month, it's good to remind everybody that you can do your part. More of the Goodness Factor is just ahead. So if someone wants to open up their own community fridge in front of their home, or volunteer for someone who has their own community fridge, is there any advice you can give them as to how to get started, or maybe even point them in the right direction?
Yeah, honestly, you can direct message us on Instagram. We're at One Pulaski. You'll see it's a page just of the community fridge.
And that's the number one or the letter one?
Yeah, the number one, and then the word Pulaski, Pulaski. Yeah, and you can direct message us, and if you're looking to set up a fridge, we'll help you, find a fridge. If you're looking to volunteer, I can add you to all of the threads I just mentioned, a couple Signal threads and a WhatsApp thread, and then you can just be on those threads, and whenever, you see a donation available that you can pick up, you can go pick it up, and then you can stock a fridge. It's sort of as simple as that, and, we have a little bit of funding to help folks with gas money and things like that. We don't want volunteers to be sort of shelling out their own money. So yeah, we do our best to keep it going.
I love it. Well, again, I appreciate you taking the time to participate in the New York edition of The Goodness Factor. Is there anything you want to say to listeners in closing about anything that's on your mind?
Well, with respect to food insecurity, I would just say it is something that really sort of lays bare the injustices in our society, because once you get involved in this world, you'll see that there is way more food available than there are hungry people, but the system is sort of keeping people hungry by charging so much money for food. And if just more people get involved and work to make it available for those who are hungry, we can go a long ways to eliminating how many people are hungry in this city. And 1 in 4 kids go hungry every day, don't know where their next meal is coming from. So it's a really important thing you can do for your community. Just get out there and help facilitate putting some free food in community fridges.
There you have it. Civil rights attorney Keegan Stephan, just one of the really, really amazing people in the tri-state area with community fridges, outside of their homes, and allowing people who need food to take the food for free. If you want more info, as he said, you can check them out on Instagram at One Pulaski. That's the number 1 and then Pulaski. Thank you, Attorney Keegan. Attorney Keegan Stephan, we appreciate you stopping by the Goodness Factor New York edition. Keep doing that good work.
Thanks so much.
That's the Do-Gooder interview. Time for the good word. For our very first New York edition of the Goodness Factor, I have some very New York motivation for the tri-state. You are as bold as the skyline, as relentless as the A train, and as vibrant as Times Square. If you can make it here, you've already proven you have what it takes to make it anywhere. Keep going. The city is rooting for you. And that's the good word. As we wrap up the inaugural episode of The Goodness Factor with Shelley Wade, New York edition. Thanks to my friend Melba Wilson of Melba's in Harlem for introing the show with such a bang. Also, thanks to all of our listeners for sharing what they're grateful for, their good news, and what they're hopeful for. Thanks also to civil rights attorney Keegan Stephan for being our do-gooder of the episode. Thanks to Bishop Katrina Foster for stopping by the Goodness Factor podcast. And of course, gotta thank my bosses, Skip Dillard and Andre Yancey, for their help and encouragement for making the podcast happen. And it was actually Andre's idea to bring the Goodness Factor to the radio on the block on Sunday. So thank you, Andre. This was fun. We'll be back with another edition of the Goodness Factor with Shelley Wade, New York, next month. Until then, be sure to subscribe to the Goodness Factor podcast to catch up with all of the episodes. We're inside season 4 right now, so there are a lot of good episodes for you to catch up with, and you'll be notified when new episodes drop on Tuesdays. There are 2 versions of the podcast, audio and video, and you can subscribe to them both. Just search for The Goodness Factor with Shelley Wade on the Audacy app or wherever you get your podcasts, and subscribe and watch the video version on YouTube by searching for The Goodness Factor with Shelley Wade channel on YouTube. Also, follow us on social media for inspiration at The Goodness Factor on Instagram and at The Goodness Factor with Shelley Wade on Facebook. Follow my personal social media. My Instagram is the one and only Shelley Wade, and my Facebook page is All the Rage with Shelley Wade. And of course, follow at 94.7 The Block wherever you are on socials. I'll leave you with the quote that my mom shared with me. Kindness is difficult to give away because it keeps coming back. Love you, and I'll talk to you next time. Mwah.